Welcome again. It's another big story where we tackle the major issues shaping Nigerian political landscape. Today, we're focusing on a significant legal ruling that has shaken one of Nigeria's most prominent political parties, the Labour Party. Now, on Wednesday, October 8th, the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled in favor of Julius Abure, reaffirming his leadership of the Labour Party. Now, this decision granted him full rights and privileges as the party's national chairman, while also compelling INEC to recognize his leadership. While Abure calls this a victory for democracy, not everyone within the Labour Party shares that view. Presidential candidate Peter Obi, Governor Alex Otti, and the caretaker committee led by Senator Nnamdi Usman have resolved to appeal the judgment.
And so with the Labour Party split into two factions, we aim to understand what next for the party as it navigates this leadership struggle. So joining me, or rather joining us now, are two key figures. We'll first of all start with, we're supposed to have Mr. Abayomi Arabambi, who represents the Abure's camp, but also is a member of the Labour Party. Unfortunately, we can't seem to get a hold of him, but we're now being joined by Kennedy Ahanotu. He's a national youth leader, Labour Party. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kennedy. We appreciate you for doing this with us, and good morning to you. Well, let's start, right? The court ruling
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. The court ruling has now reaffirms Julius Abure as the legitimate national chairman of the Labour Party. How has been, the response within the party? Was this what the party was hoping for in terms of the ruling?
Well, members of the party have accepted that with happiness and joy. At the issue, there is no crisis in the Labour Party. It's just that people feel that the party is open for grab and is open for anybody to be its leaders. What actually happened was that Abure emerged as the leader of the party in a convention held in Nnewi, and that convention was held within the existing tenure of Julius Abure. So after the convention, on July 2024, INEC started giving a body language to the party, which I felt that leaders of the party should have asked questions. I felt that leaders of the party should have gone to INEC for a correspondent exchange. There should have been an exchange of letters. INEC, please, why are you embarrassing our party? Why did you embarrass our national chairman in certain meeting? And writing INEC and receiving a reply from INEC, but what some of our leaders kept doing was to be believing the projections and maybe some kind of concocted stories that is being distributed around the media by some people who felt they don't like Julius Abure. And now, the law is law. Party administration and management is different from governance and country management or state management. If you don't know party management, you don't know it. And it's something that you have to grow in. It's not something that you just jump in. For example, what happened in Umuahia wouldn't have happened ordinarily, because what I expected the party to do is to approach the court for interpretation of what INEC is trying to do. Having known that there were a lot of petitions against the party, there were a lot of crises. You saw Apapa crisis, you saw the NLC crisis, you saw the Callistus crisis. All these were heaped on INEC. So even ordinarily, I expected INEC to keep quiet and look at the party and see what is going on, which they did. But many leaders misinterpreted that and felt there is a leadership vacuum. There has never been a leadership vacuum in Labour Party. The party has one national chairman who is Barrister Julius Abure. So for me, the court judgment is nothing new from what I already know, because I didn't expect the court to rule something contrary. Assuming the convention held after the tenure of Julius Abure, that would have been another case for judgment. But now, Julius Abure, in his own time as the national chairman, serving out a tenure, conducted a convention in March, and his tenure, as people are speculating on the media, expired on June. So what now happened to that convention held in Nnewi on March? This is the crux of the matter. So a lot of people felt that Julius Abure have done what he wants to do in Nnewi and that should not start. But by law, Julius Abure did not default the Electoral Act. Julius Abure did not default the party constitution. And Julius Abure did not default the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the judgment a few days ago is justice to democracy, like me, I perceive it and I see it.
So Mr. Hanasu, now Alex Otti and also party principal Peter Obi have announced that they're going to be challenging this in court. How do you think this is going to affect the party, considering it's already fractioned state as it is? And why do you think this is necessary?
I felt that, like you said, fractionalizing the party was deliberate. Because I kept saying till now, and I can say it on TV, that if His Excellency, our only governor, the pride of the party, can produce a correspondence he had with INEC before he took that decision, I will resign my position as a national leader. If he can produce a correspondence that INEC wrote him and told him that the party lacks leadership, I would resign even from partisan politics. You see, I feel at that level, leaders should not work based on speculation. Leaders should not work based on stories told them by some group of persons. Leaders should work with a tangible, concrete information. So I feel appealing the matter is now contrary to what they said in Umuahia. Because what they said is that they want to salvage a situation whereby the party is lacking in leadership. But when the court have now given the party, they have given directive to INEC to accord the party their due right and respect. If you appeal it, it means that what people are thinking, that there is going to be people that want to hijack the party is true. Because this matter was already in court even before the Umuahia meeting. So if I were His Excellency Dr. Alex Otti, I would have waited till now before I constitute that caretaker committee, assuming the courts have found the NWC led by Abure wanting and denied them approval to be recognized by INEC. It would have been valid now for His Excellency Dr. Alex Otti to take that action. Everybody is entitled to his own opinion, and His Excellency Dr. Alex Otti and the purported caretaker committee chairperson is free to approach the court. But I wonder how you will be approaching the court in a matter where you were not born. It's just like a child that is born now challenging the process of his birth. You see, it's only in Nigeria that some of these things happen. You have not been commissioned as a caretaker committee chairperson, and now the court have ruled on a case where the party is dragging their leadership before you were commissioned. And now you want to come and appeal that case. Is it not ridiculous? It is ridiculous. And again, what is your status? What is the locus with which this lady will appeal the court? We appeal the judgment. Are you appealing the judgment as in it caused some damages to you? It's already committing what we call contempt of court. Because any matter that is in court, you are not supposed to do anything until that matter is adjudged. But now the matter was in court. This lady went ahead to be commissioned as a caretaker committee. He has violated some laws of the land by going forward to present herself to be anointed as caretaker committee chairman. That is now becoming injurious to the party. So instead of her to toe the path of peace, a part of reconciliation, and a part of unity, because I feel that Labour Party is not actually the problem of Nigerians right now. The problem of Nigerians are many: hunger, price, hike in price, fuel price, hike in electricity price, no medical care. These are the problems of Nigeria, and I feel that Democrats like us should come together and sit down on a table. That is one thing that is lacking in all this crisis. There has never been any time Alex Otti have never called NWC generally to sit down with them and say, what do we do at this point? And that is a failure as far as I'm concerned in terms of his approach to leadership. And I don't care how anybody feel about it. Most times they don't allow us to come on air to speak. And a lot of people will come on air and throw many lies on us and throw many lies on people like me and say all manner of things, corrupt people, criminals, and all what have you. But this matter of leadership is being solved. And any good thinking member of the party should come into the party and let's sit down and chart a forward course for the party. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Hannatu. One other thing is, from the past, the Labour Party was seen as a beacon of hope, especially for young people. But currently, you mentioned a few of the issues that they've been through, the NLC issue, the INEC issue, the Umuahia Convention. There's so many. It seems like as if it's like eating itself from the inside. Now, if Alex Oti and the party principal, former principal, Peter Obi, do continue with what they've announced to take this to court, how do you think this is going to affect the public perception of the LP, which is already fragile?
One thing that we have failed to do in this part of the world is to reject public perception and follow law. Public perception can tell you that your wife is something else. That's public perception. It is your choice to believe that your wife is something else. Public perception can tell you that your brother is the cause of your failure in business. It is your choice to believe in that. But as for party management and administration, it does with documented information, it does with exchange of communications, it does with decisions made on a round table. So my principal, I still respect him. Of course, he's coming to Labour Party, have made people like me to be heard politically across the world. So I cannot dispute the fact that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is leader of the party, and he has played a vital role in making Labour Party prominent. But that nevertheless, in this part of the world, we must submit ourselves, no matter how big and highly placed we are, we must submit ourselves to institutional development. We are where we are in Nigeria today because individuals feel too big than an institution. And for an institution to work, individuals must come together and sit down, not to act on public perception. Not to act, public perception is not law. Of course, when you go to a law court, you can't get judgment based on public perception.
I beg to differ.
You can only get judgment based on what evidences you have.
But when you look at it, Mr. Hannatu, public perception is what votes are determined by. If a party or if a person doesn't have a clear picture of what a party is about, they perceive it as, oh, I'm not with this party, and that affects the vote. So if you say public perception is not something to go by...
Public perception is an ingredient of the media. Public perception, if you bring me now and make me look good on the media will buy me, people will buy me. Public perception is a projection on the media. Look at what happened on Twitter sometime in the past, even though the guy has been arrested and is in custody. Somebody came on the Twitter and said that they gave me 2 million in Edo State to mess up Edo primary, which never happened. And more than 1 million people viewed it and rained curses on me, on my personality. I never saw the 2 million, nothing like that happened. But public perception is that Kennedy is a criminal. Will you now take me to court and imprison me without investigating such thing? So public perception is a creation of the media. The same way the media projected that the Julius Abure NWC are criminals, if the media turns today and say that there is peace in Labour Party, if leaders of the party come on air today and say the party is one, we are working together, public perception will also change. Kennedy. Public perception changes with time.
Kennedy, I take objection to saying that the media is the sole cause or the root cause or the manufacturers of public perception. Now, we may be, to an extent, aid in public perception, but if a person forms an opinion of you, there's not so much the media can do. That's number one. I think there's a difference between social media and traditional media, and I think when you cited your case, that is social media in its entirety. And I think that the media is working tirelessly, hence why we're having a discussion like this, to talk about disinformation and misinformation and understand what is clear when it comes to matters like this. And we have to bring matters to the fore to have those discussions as clear as possible and be as very objective as we can. So which takes me to my next question, right? You talked about the lead up to the court ruling that has now affirmed Abure. Now, the persons, the chieftains who were there, the stakeholders who were there at Aba for at Abia State for the meeting that confirmed Nenadi's led National Working Committee, they said that this casted a vote of no confidence in Abure. Hence why they went ahead to have that convention and then vote or have install this new National Working Committee. Afterwards, they put out a press release saying that they were extending an olive branch to other members to be unified under the umbrella that is Labour Party. What do you make of the vote of no confidence in Abure by the stakeholders, the installation of the National Working Committee, and the extension of that olive branch to Abure, plus the allegations of corruption and misappropriation of funds by Abure?
Thank you so much. I didn't say what I said to disparage the media. Of course, the media have been the conscience of every nation. But what I'm saying is that sometimes there are some information that goes on TV, on newspapers that are not verified. Most times people come and speak grammar and say what they want to say without concrete evidence. That's, by the way, I'm sorry if I make any statement that looks like I'm disparaging the media. I respect the media, of course. I've also benefited from them. So coming to your question, I think the first time Abure was given vote of no confidence was by Apapa. It didn't stand. Why? Because the constitutional provisions of the party and were not followed. The second one was the formation of the National Transition Committee by NLC, which I told them in confidence that it will not work because the constitutional provision of the party and electoral act were not followed. The third vote of no confidence were given by the former treasurer, who was a treasurer for 13 years and never produced a statement of account or financial report. And now coming on air to accuse Abure, who became national chairman in 2021, and produce a financial report. So that vote of confidence also failed because it didn't follow the constitutional provision of the party and the constitutional provision of the land. Now, the Umuahia stakeholders meeting. Can you call a stakeholders meeting in a political party without the NWC members, even if it is half of them being in attendance? Then they extended a notice on social media, like you said, inviting 5 members of the NWC. I feel there are some level of cunningness in that, because if you wanted to do something properly, you go ahead and invite the entire NWC members, and there must have been some discussions internally before you go on such a vendetta in Umuahia, as far as I'm concerned. So those consultations were not made. The allegations of corruption against Abure is an individual thing, but one thing I know is that there is no court in Nigeria that have found Abure wanting. Sometimes I ask questions, is Abure more powerful than people like Abelo that EFCC kept inviting? Is Abure more powerful than Tafa Balogun that the police dragged on the floor, even after being the Inspector General of Police? When the law have caught up with you, the law have caught up with you. So that is what I'm saying, that people must approach the court, people must approach everything they are saying with concrete evidence, not just grammar, like some of the content creators on social media are doing in recent times. Not just that. You must have a concrete evidence, and I'm talking with strength because I'm inside. If they call a meeting of NWC today, I will be there. That's the highest decision-making body of the party. So I'm telling you that there were no discussions. All what we had is that Abure should come to Umuahia with 2 persons. And as a party, it would be wrong, Abure as a leader, to now come and tell the whole NWC, I'm going to Umuahia with only 2 persons. It's wrong. So the approach, the whole conduct of things in Umuahia was wrong. The strategy was wrong. The stakeholders of the party cannot be complete without the National Working Committee members of the party.
Kennedy.
Thank you.
Kennedy, can you also, since we're stating, you know, the mechanisms of all of this, whether the meetings or the stakeholder vote process, as well as, you know, the convention in Umuahia, INEC also did not see the Inewi convention that was held by Abure, it didn't see it as legal, right? So would you also say that the mechanism of having that convention was wrong? I'm only asking. This is in no way trying to stoke a fire.
It is not
Just
in
make
the
it
power,
clear for me.
It is not in the power of INEC to say that the convention that done by Labour Party is illegal. They don't have that power. INEC is an umpire, and as a matter of fact, the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution of the land says that you should inform INEC. And even if you go down on that provision, he said that after informing INEC, whether they attend or they don't attend, the national chairman and national secretary shall make a report to INEC. And let me take us back to history. In 2018, when the tenure of the then NWC expired, INEC wrote an official letter to the party stating that there is an expiration of tenure of this current NWC and mandating the party to conduct another convention, which the party adhered to by conducting a convention in Akwanga, Nasarawa State in 2019. Now, this brings us back to 2024. Is INEC no longer the same INEC that wrote the party as at 2018? Have INEC changed from their name to another thing? So the question is, why haven't INEC, since they feel that they don't accept the convention of the party, why haven't they written the party saying that we don't accept your convention for so reason? So INEC does not have the power to say condemn the convention done by the party. Whatever the party does is a totally an internal party affairs. INEC can only attend primary where a candidate is produced, because a candidate once produced will affect policy, will impact the people. So INEC can only participate 100% in primary election. But in convention and congresses, INEC just needs notification, and the party did not default in that.
Mr. Hannatu, I'm still on the case of the leadership of the party and this announcement by the principals to actually perhaps maybe take this to court. Now, if Peter Obi, a very known principal of the party, has come in and stepped in and said he is going to be making this arrangement, does that mean that he can reshape the party leadership in any way, shape, or form? And how will this also affect the party dynamics?
Your Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi is well respected in the party till tomorrow. And I can assure you this, he is our leader. He's one of the strong leaders of the party as he stands today. And he never said, I didn't hear from him. I read his press release where he said that we are going to reconcile. We are going to bring everybody together. That was what I heard from His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi. Of course, many people can interpret what he said in a different manner. But if I understood our presidential candidate properly, he said, now the court judgment has come, we are going to further engage in reconciliatory measures, which I feel is the right thing for him to say. The expectation now is for him as a father to now call everybody on a round table. Like I said, what has been lacking in this whole thing is been calling everybody on the round table and putting the fact on the table and discussing it as a family. If there's an issue in a family, the best thing to do is to sit down, not to run around a particular matter, which is wrong. The best thing is for us to sit down, tell ourselves the truth. This is the current realities. This is the strategy we want to use to approach 2027. Some people, we need to concede, we need to do this, some people need to make sacrifices, some people need to shift grounds, and you state it factually like that. And you now look at leaders respond in terms of morality. You now look at leaders respond with the idea that we are pursuing the liberation of Nigeria. But we cannot achieve the liberation of Nigeria by demonizing some people and making some people saints. Even those people that you are making saints, some of us knows them as nothing close to being a saint. So the best thing is for us to come and sit down as a family and discuss and chart a way forward. Nobody have disagreed with His Excellency. in peace and resolution approach to what has just happened.
Kennedy.
I feel that what have happened to Labour Party is needed, at least to shake the foundation, to confirm if the party is actually strong, to confirm if the leadership of the party is not as feeble and soft as a lot of people thought. You know, some of us are young professionals. We are not former this, we are not former that. So based on that, they feel we don't have anything to offer. But it's unfortunate. I don't know where David trained before he defeated Goliath. This NWC can defeat any president, can win presidential election. Of course, we won it in 2023.
All right, Kennedy, speaking of elections, but first, when you say that, you know, they have to be compromised, they have to be people that would concede, it makes you wonder if there have been time and time again of vocal cases of vote of no confidence in the leadership of Abure. Are you saying that there have not been cases where all the chieftains and principals and the stakeholders of the party have come together to speak to him privately before coming to the media or letting it blow up to this manner? But that's just a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer. But moving forward, right, you just talked about elections. There is a governorship election underway, which is the Edo State election. There's also the local government council elections that are also ongoing. And from the last general election cycle, it was very, very clear that Labour Party was a prominent figure that rose out of, you know, obscurity, so to speak, and have now become so much of a large following that people love and wanted to see a difference from the last two popular parties, which is the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress. With all that is going on, and with the Edo elections at stake, do you see your party finding a cohesive, united front to be able to campaign on the ground in Edo State and also be of a strong opposition for the sake of the Nigerian people?
I think the problem of leadership in Nigeria is followers find it difficult to follow their leaders. Followers find it that they are bigger than the people leading them. This is the cross of leadership problem in Nigeria. If you look at Edo, what happened in Edo is unfortunate. Labour Party had everything it would have taken them to win Edo. The crisis that befell the party before the Edo or within the primary election of the party in Edo was clearly uncalled for. The national chairman of the party is from Edo State. Of course, he said that there is a zoning arrangement in Edo State. That was his crime in Edo State. He said that he was suggesting that the party ticket be zoned to Central, and because he's also from Central. So a lot of things happened that didn't happen. Our candidate that emerged was actually the most vibrant, the most qualified to be the next governor of Edo State. But then, just like it is the people that decide who leads them, and the people that decide who leads them are sometimes played by this sentiment of zoning. Of course, I don't blame the people who felt that an outgoing governor and the incoming governor cannot be from the same local government. That was what affected us in Edo State. Outside that, the party would have won the election in Edo State. Abata remains, and I would challenge anybody, the best candidate for that governorship election in Edo State. But then the zoning arrangement affected his election. That's by the way. And again, going forward, other elections, the party has a goodwill of the people. And eventually, it is these same people that we vote. But what we need is peace in the party. The moment we achieve that peace in the party, I think the party is good to go. It's all these things that are happening in the party. Of course, it's expected that a party that went through, that challenged the establishment in the last election, will go through this level of shaking. It's expected ordinarily because you can't challenge the status quo and not face some fractures. So a lot of people will be injured, a lot of people will be, you know, we experience a negative effect of challenging the establishment in 2023 election. That is the crime that the party have committed. It's because we challenged the status quo in 2023. That is the crime we committed as a party.
Mr. Kennedy, I want to say thank you very much for joining us this morning to share your views on this LP issue. And of course, your views are noted. And well, what can I say? Thank you indeed. We appreciate this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.